Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. I want you to make me understand something about the government. What are the three branches of the government?
The three branch of government.
Yes.
The three branch of government I know with the what? We have a first the president of government, we have
Mm-hmm.
a ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the council, but the council is also.
Okay. And what does each branch do on
Mm,
those three governments you have mentioned?
yeah, under like now we are under government, but you are under what I can say is like the council. You are
Mm-hmm.
under council because if you have a council,
Mm-hmm.
you can go straight for them, talk about what you need, what straight because we can't go straight by the president and talk about the president. We just go first to see the council. From there, can help.
Okay, here they have given us the two examples of the major parties, which is Democrats and Republican. Can you name the third party?
Yeah, we have a constitution.
Okay, what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Yeah. Now we think about constitution because the law that we have in the country is from the constitution. So I don't know. Maybe if there's a harder one that is the council can give us like to falling to do it. See.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Hello, how are you, Patrick?
Fine and you, Auntie.
I'm fine. Yeah, I want you to help me understand some few questions with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to know what is the government?
Okay. According to my understanding, government is an institution which is combining the president, the vice president, ministers, and civil servants, even peoples. They are the one who are making the government.
Okay, now can you name the three branches of the government?
Now, what I know Republican, Democratic, and uh, dictatorial.
And what does each branch do? If you can tell me some few examples.
Okay, I can explain a little bit about dictatorial. Those following those dictatorial, they are making things according to their own wish. They are not following the law or people's ideas. They are doing what they want. What they have already planned is what they are doing. And even if someone left the issue which is not achieved, if the other one for dictatorial came in, you have to follow that issue up to the point. But what I know, democratic, they are the one who are giving everyone democracy everywhere. You can do whatever you want. You can even sue those who are working in the government because it's easy for everyone to do. But for the third party, it's a little bit difficult for me to explain, but I know those two.
Okay, so you know about the Democrats and the Republican. Can you just give me another example of the third party, the major parties?
Uh, which I can say the opposition, the dictatorial party. Those ones, according to me, I can say it's a very bad government because it's where they are using, like they are dictator. They are forcing people to do things even if they don't want. Yeah.
Okay, now can you tell me the basic process of which a bill becomes a law?
Okay. According to my understanding, I can say a bill can become a law if lawyers sit together, and think to make some laws which everyone will be following and everyone will be under it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Patrick.
You're welcome.
My name is Precious Maruba, a student with Southern New Hampshire University, pursuing my bachelor's degree in logistics and operation. In this video, I will explain about the United States government, its branches, roles, and how a bill becomes a law. What is the government? There are various definitions of the term government depending on how one understands it. I can describe the government as means by which the society organizes itself and allocates authority in order to accomplish collective goals and provide benefits that satisfy the community. The three branches of the government are legislative, headed by the Congress, executive, headed by the President, and judicial. The author asserts that the Constitution divided the government into these three branches and specified each branch with powers and a setup called checks and balances to ensure no one branch controls with too much power. The Constitution created a separation of powers, namely express power granted in the Constitution and implied powers derived from these express powers or branches role. The roles of these branches. So the legislative can create laws executed by the executive and interpreted by the judicial. Referring to the resources, these three branches are connected in the sense that each branch has a specific task. For example, the legislative, headed by the Congress, creates law in which the Congress oversees the executive bureaucracy. The executive, headed by the President, executes laws. The President may sign or veto a law subject to a 2/3 vote in the Congress. And finally, the judicial, which interprets law. The court may find laws and constitutional and executive action unauthorized. So each branch has a specific task and power which cannot interfere with either two branches, and this is how it works. Answering the question how they do relate to each branch of the government can change acts of the other branch decision. The ability of each branch to respond to the action of other branches is called the system of checks and balances, as we see the order of powers organized in each branch decision as follows. The President can veto legislation created by the Congress and nominates heads of federal agencies. Congress confirms or rejects the President's nominees and can remove the President from office in exceptional circumstances. The Justices of the Supreme Court, who can overturn unconstitutional laws, are nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. Answering the question about the third party of the US. Anyway, people have a different understanding of the wild setup of how the government is organized and how it is built up into different groups. The government has several political parties, including minor parties such as the Senate, such as the States' Rights Party, American Independent Party, Progressive Party, etc. The third parties represent faction that breaks away from major parties over policy issues. If the party fails to meet the needs of its client, then some individuals quit forming their personal parties with the reason to fight for their rights. This leads us to the birth of the two-party system. The two-party system started in the 1790s with emergence of the two distinct political parties, the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist. The parties dominated the US government with their arguments and disagreements over three issues: the nature of government, the economy, and foreign policy. How a bill becomes a law. A bill is a process which requires thorough understanding. Dr. Scott explains in detail how a bill becomes a law by narrating that the bill can be drafted by any member, even the President, but can only be introduced to the committee or subcommittee by a member of Congress. When the bill is introduced to the committee, the members of the committee work on a drafted bill to measure if that bill is appropriate to be considered as a law. After careful examination, there is a chance of determination for the passage of the bill, but if no action taken, then the bill is effectively dead. That's what Dr. Scott called the committee as a graveyard of the bill, meaning that if the bill was not approved, it goes nowhere than to be buried in this stage in the committee. The subcommittee reviews the bill for hearings, which provide the opportunity to put on the records the views of the executive expert branch, public officials, and sometimes include interest groups to ask questions on what significances they see on the drafted bill. Then the subcommittee meets to mark up the bill, checking the variations or amendments prior to recommending the bill to the full committee. If the subcommittee votes is not reported to the full committee, the bill dies. But if the committee votes for the bill where the bill is ordered, and after the debate and approval of any amendments, the bill is passed or defeated by the members voting. So the bill is referred to the other chamber where the same process is followed through the committee and action floor for approval as a received bill, rejected, ignored, or changed. After the alteration on the bill by the other chamber, a committee is formed to reconcile the difference between the House and the Senate's versions. But if the conference committee disagree to the registration, it dies. And if agreement is reached, a conference report is prepared describing the committee members' recommendation for changes, so that both the House and Senate approves the conference report and finally send the bill to the President. If the President approves the registration, he signs it and it becomes a law. But if the President takes no action for 10 days while the Congress is in session, it automatically becomes a law. However, if the President opposes the bill and he veto it, if it takes no action after the Congress has adjourned its second session, it becomes a pocket veto and the registration dies. Nevertheless, if the President decides to veto the bill, Congress may attempt to override the veto so that both the House and Senate can pass the bill by a 2/3 majority where the President's veto is overruled, and that's how the bill becomes a law. Thank you.